We all know that behind every great man is a great woman. Jane Sanders is the #1 advisor, strategist, and wife of presidential nominee Bernie Sanders. I got a rare glimpse into her life on the front line of the Bernie for President campaign trail, and what a whirlwind it is.
Are you surprised at how much incredible support Bernie's campaign has gotten?
You know, we knew that the ideas would
We knew there were some good ideas there.
There were good ideas, and we knew that the mainstream America would embrace them, but not with such fervor, not with such commitment. And then to see that the 30 and under crowd, we've gotten more votes than Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton combined in that age group.
Wow.
Yeah. They are unbelievably involved. You see them online.
Oh yeah.
You know, and they're talking about the issues.
Young people's intelligence is often insulted, if you ask me.
Oh yes.
And I think that when you give people an opportunity to actually speak about something that they care about, they will.
They are thinking about others. They're not at all accepting of any kind of intolerance or racism. They are moving past it and saying, let's get over it. They speak so much online that they are spreading the message.
It's the power of the collective voice.
Yes.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
What we cannot do alone, we can do together.
The future looks good if they can be in power. And that's what this campaign is about.
Yeah. Sexism and racism is systemic, you know? And ultimately, you have to go into the system to really root this stuff out and make change.
I might use that line. That's
can use
very
that.
good.
It's a good one.
You have to really affect change, and it can't be because of a particular policy
No.
here or there.
With all of your travels and the different people and communities that you're engaging with, is this giving you solid ideas for like, okay, this is what I need to do, and if we end up in the White House, this is going to be what I focus on as First Lady?
You know, my favorite First Lady was Eleanor Roosevelt, and she went out into the communities, and she heard from the people, the real people, not the guys in the suits, and brought their voices back. And so things would be a little bit different now. She wrote a column. Maybe I'd do a TV show or a blog or,
oh my God, you better come do that with me.
I would. That would be fancy.
Oh my God, I would love that. Let me ask you, how has it been for you going from being relatively unknown to known?
Well, I first experienced it when Bernie started to be known more as a senator. And I used to say, you know, I don't want to go for a walk anymore because we don't go 2 steps without somebody stopping. So on this race, at first I pretty much held back. I said, I will help you. I'll go everywhere with you. I'll go out and wave, say hello, because I want them to know you're married, want them to know a little bit more about your life.
You don't want those girls hitting on him. I'm kidding. It's on another level.
It is.
Do you know what I mean? It's some other level stuff. It's like everyone is watching, and so what you or your husband or anyone in your family says or does right now is everyone's staring at.
I know. That's the surprise.
Yeah.
I'm used to seeing Jane Sanders said this about an issue.
Right.
But not Jane Sanders used this word, you know.
Right.
Like she said this.
Right.
And they just quote a word as though that
completely out of context of what it was anyway.
So it's a little daunting when he especially says something that might be picked up or misstated or something like that. So
one of the things that I was also thinking about, which I really loathe about politics, is how in the political arena women are pitted against one another. I think it's an incredibly undermining technique. I think it really pushes us back from women supporting one another. And I was wondering how you deal with that, because that does not seem like your thing at all.
Well, it's interesting because Secretary Clinton and her campaign have been really demeaning of Bernie and his record and just distorting things. So that's been difficult. When I'm asked about that, I don't want to return fire in kind. And so whenever anybody says something against her, I defend her as another woman, but also as another person in public service trying to serve our democracy. I want to lead by example, you know, don't do anything against our principles. And so it's a little hard because that's all the media is interested in.
The climate right now in this presidential race, I feel like, am I watching a political movement or am I watching a reality show? Because there are things that are said by mostly Donald Trump, I will say, that are, they're so archaic, saying that women should be punished for having abortions. Where do you even begin to respond to that?
Yeah.
Really? This is something I even have to consider as being a relevant subject. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're asked about things like that?
When you're making an entire race of people or an entire ethnic group of people be fearful of their future and of their children's lives,
I know.
you have to speak up.
One of the things that you have said is that Bernie thinks things through,
Yeah,
and that you feel things through.
that's true. It was a while before we actually accepted that. We used to fight about how he looked at things and how I looked at things. We'd argue like, well, don't you get that?
Right.
But our relationship began in work. I was a community organizer and he was running for mayor. We brought together 4 groups to meet with the mayor and the treasurer of the city, and they were getting evasive answers. So I started to stand up and ask questions and follow-up questions. And he said, now you sound like Bernie Sanders.
Really?
And I sat down and I said, who's Bernie Sanders? And they said, he's running for mayor. I said, let's organize a debate. Sat there in the second row. I could not take my eyes off him, and he couldn't take his eyes off me either. But I felt that he embodied everything I believed in. And I said, I gotta work for this guy. This guy has to win. He had a victory party, a friend of his, at his house. So we went and we saw each other. He asked me to dance, and
he asked you to dance?
Yeah,
That's so sweet.
Yeah. It was nice. But it wasn't like anybody else was dancing.
It was not a dance party.
It was not. We were all in a house, and the music was going, and then he said, do you want to dance? And we danced.
That's so romantic.
It was. It was.
And that's 27 years ago.
That's 35 years ago.
Oh my God, you've been together for 35.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone that is married a long time, I always ask them, what are the things that have worked best for your marriage to sustain this amount of time?
Trust and respect. We differ on various things, but we trust and respect each other as equals. And it wasn't easy, and it didn't happen right away.
Right.
It took a long time. We broke up, actually, for a year because he didn't really want to get married, and I knew I wanted to get married, and we started to just
want to pull different directions. Yeah.
But then we still worked together, and we worked in the mayor's office. And at first, we were really kind of annoyed at each other, but we ended up working together and getting along really well.
That says a lot about both of your characters.
We're best friends. He kept on calling. He said, "Come out and just go out for ice cream with me." And I said, "Okay."
Oh my, I love his style. I love his style. Do you want to dance? Do you want to come for ice cream with me?
We walked out and he said, so you want to get married? Bern, let's not talk about this again, but you want to get married. And I said, yes, I do. And he put his hands on my shoulder. Will you marry me? I said, when? That was it. You know, I always thought I'd be a mom. That was what I wanted to be. I was a foster parent for a number of years.
Oh, wow.
And taking kids that were 16 years old, kind of just the
no
ones
one
that
wants
were,
the 16-year-olds.
Nobody wants them, so that's why I wanted them.
Did you consciously choose to not have children together, or you just thought, you know what, we've already got 3 and you've got 1 and we got 4 together and that's that?
I think that was it. We just decided that we had 4 children. That was quite a bit, and I pay a lot of attention to them.
What do you love most about your husband?
His integrity and the way he is with the kids and the grandkids. I mean, he's somebody that we've always all been able to count on. Since the day we got married, there was never a doubt that he would be there for them no matter what.
What drives you nuts about your husband?
That he just gives the media a really hard time all the time. You know, there's a lot of media people that are very nice, and I wish he would give them more of a fair shake once in a while.
Right.
They're trying to do their job.
Being misrepresented is one of the most frustrating things to deal with.
Well, it's more that he hates the idea that they're always talking process and polls and not issues.
And not sexy issues, and mainstream media just wants sensationalism. Okay, so these are kind of the last questions that I ask everybody. What are you most afraid of?
Anything happening to any of my kids or grandkids ever. That's what I'm most afraid of.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's mine too. You know, I read that your brother died. And I don't know how you recover from that.
I was more like him than anybody else in the family, and he just did everything his own way. I just really admired him.
Do you ever think you wish that he could see what was happening right now?
Yeah, I talked to him, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get that. I fully get that. What do you lie about?
My weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When is the last time you rode a motorbike?
Well, once I realized that my kids were
know.
going to want to, I stopped. The
That's a
last
big
time was
issue, I
in
know.
in the 80s.
I mean, you gotta love women who ride, you know?
It just feels so good,
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does. What is your favorite sex position? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
It's got to be Ben & Jerry's.
Ben & Jerry's.
And chocolate chip. Although no, Bernie's Yearning is a new one.
Bunny's Yearning?
That's what they did. They said they put it's mint ice cream underneath and a big chocolate disc, about 1% of the pint, and then we're supposed to break it up so that the 1% goes throughout the rest.
Oh my God. Okay, what would you tell your 14-year-old self?
I would say, don't give up. Life is not as dramatic as you think it is. Everything that is so terrible right now will pass, and it really won't matter at all. Not to diminish your feelings now. Feel them strongly.
I'm not minimizing at all.
Right, feel them strongly. It's great, but recognize that you will always have those peaks. You'll always come up from the valleys, and have faith in yourself, and don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Thank you.
you.
Wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much.